Hi, and welcome to the Microsoft Virtual Academy course, Creating Games with ProjectSpark. This is Module 2, your first adventure, Crossroads. I'm Stephen Howell, and in this section, now that you've got ProjectSpark installed, you're probably very excited and you want to get going straight away. And don't worry, we won't keep you from the excitement too long. We just want to tell you about what we're going to do in this section, and then we'll be into ProjectSpark. So, your first adventure is going to be actually loading up ProjectSpark, and we're going to watch the intro video. We're going to explore the interface that ProjectSpark comes with. There's quite a lot to ProjectSpark, so we'll be using this as an opportunity to show you the different sections. We're going to be starting with Play tab, and the Play tab will let us look at games and levels and worlds that other people have made, and people just like you who have created these worlds and want you to experience them. You'll also be able to see things like the different challenges which are built into ProjectSpark, and we're going to play an existing game. So that existing game is just a little game that I've made, but when we're playing it, you'll be seeing some of the things that are possible with ProjectSpark, and hopefully they'll give you some inspiration. Finally, we'll be going into creating your own game, which is on the Create tab. And you'll see there's different ways to create levels, but Crossroads is pretty special. It's like an adventure game, which is also a tutorial. So the first section though is to play an existing game. So in a moment I'm going to load ProjectSpark, and you're going to see the intro video, and you're going to see me using the interface and telling you all about it. We're going to be particularly interested in the Play tab, and I'm going to tell you about the challenges and show you some of the featured levels. I want you to get a feel for how you play games and how you use your control interface. So maybe you're using an Xbox controller, so you'll interact with the games in that way. If you're using a touchscreen interface, you'll use the touchscreen. If you're using keyboard and mouse, that's different again. But in each way, you'll be able to learn how to interact with the worlds. And we're going to play a little adventure game I've made, where the hero is a girl in the forest, and there's 3 treasure chests, and there's a little puzzle there, and she gets to interact with those. So I think you'll see how easy it is to make a game. This game only takes a few minutes to make, but it looks really well, and hopefully that'll give you some inspiration as well. So let's do that now. This is ProjectSpark. So this is ProjectSpark. You can see it's in beta, and this is the Microsoft Studios logo, followed by the Team Dakota logo, and Team Dakota are the ones who make ProjectSpark. And this is the intro video. Now on your computer you'll be able to hear this with really cool music and sound effects, but I've those switched off now so I can chat to you over it. I want you to look as the camera brings you through an amazing landscape. You can see some pretty incredible scenery. We can see heroes walking down some steps on your left, and you can see archways and castles and amazing waterfalls. It's a really impressive view of what you can do with ProjectSpark. And the video then brings you through a number of different possibilities of what can be done with ProjectSpark. So when you're first watching this, it can seem a little bit daunting because you're thinking, how can I create all this? But it is very possible to create these cool and amazing worlds you see. Now, a lot of people get excited when they see the space sort of futuristic features and the sci-fi stuff. I can't wait to try that myself. So there's a voiceover which you can't hear unless you're watching this on your own computer, which is telling you all about how you can create these. So what we're going to do now, as soon as this video is over, is take you through playing a game. Now, ProjectSpark is an incredible environment where you can play games and create games. And the real limitations to ProjectSpark are your imagination. And, you know, most of you have amazing imaginations, so you won't have too many limitations to creating games. It's really easy to get started as well, but the interface, there's a lot to it, so I'm going to take you through it so you can just see what's possible at first. So our video is ending now, and it's time to have a look at the interface. So the very first thing you'll see that happens is if you've purchased content, it will update your license and content from the ProjectSpark service. So that means it connects to the internet, and it'll download any updates to the content you've purchased. Now, you may have no content purchased, and it'll just update the what comes with ProjectSpark as standard. So you can see there was no updates, so it updated very fast, and I'm brought to my ProjectSpark beta screen, and there's three main buttons. There's Play, Create, and Marketplace. Now, in a later on module, we're going to look at Marketplace. So we're not going to go in there now, but that's where you can shop for new items in your games. Create is where you create your games and your stories and your interactive worlds. Play is where you can play games that you've made and other people have made and shared. Now, if you look up in the top right hand corner, you'll see that I'm logged in, and you should see your name up there if you're logged in. So the very first thing I'm going to do is go into Play, and I select Play, and I'm using an Xbox controller, so I use the left stick to navigate different buttons, and I press A to select. So we can see that there's top rated of all time features down here. These are all different levels which are made by other people, and they all have very cool names. And when you play a game, you can rate it. You can say, this is what I think of this level. And the levels that get highly rated are often showed here at the bottom, and you can go in and play any of those. This is because the people who made them shared them. So you do have to share your levels. People can't play any of the games you make unless you share them. But I'm not going to play a level someone else made. I'm going to play a game that I played. So I don't go into the community section. Instead, I'm going to press the menu button, which is the back button on my controller, and just show you the profile page. Now, the profile page has a lot on it, and the very first thing you see is Spark level. Now, Spark level is something that's coming up in a later section, and it's very much to do with earning rewards by creating and completing challenges and interacting in certain ways. So what are these challenges? Well, along the top you'll see that there's challenges and achievements. Now, I'm not going into achievements because that opens up a new window all about the achievements I've made, but instead I'm going to go into challenges. And this is very interesting because it gives us timed challenges, milestones, and goals. Time challenges are generally something that you have to complete in a given day or a given time period. So you can imagine that there could be a daily or weekly challenge. I don't think they go any bigger than weekly. And if you do a particular thing on that day or week and you achieve it, so it could be to play 10 minutes of community games, or it could be to add a goblin tank, or it could be to log in, then you get some experience points. There's also milestones, which are similar to challenges, only they just watch what you do over time. So Painting Pro challenge that I'm on now, it says to paint for 2 hours, and I'm at tier 4, and I'm at 67% of that challenge, which means I've painted for over an hour but not for 2 hours yet. Then if we go to goals, well, there are things like show and tell, share your first level. You can see that I've done that. Make something special, big or small, and then things I haven't done. So I haven't glued props together 5 times. So when I come out of these challenges, I can also see rewards. These are where I've contributed to things, and also purchases where I can see the things that I've purchased. So if I scroll all the way back here and go to published, I'm now going to play a game that I made. And this game was made earlier by me, 16 hours ago. You can see it says there. And this is a very short and simple game, just to show you what games look like in ProjectSpark. So I press A to select it, and it tells me that the game is called Open the Treasure Chest, and it's by me, and I can play, edit, or delete it. So I want to play it. So I am already on the play button, so I select that by pressing A. So now my game will load up, and I'll be able to tell you all about it as soon as it's on the screen. So this is our game world, And we can see here that my game starts off. My hero is a girl, and she's an adventurer, and she's in a woods or a forest, and we can see there's a little squirrel critter there. He looks nice, so if I go over to him, I'm going to walk over slowly to him, but he runs away because he's frightened. Maybe he'd make a good pet, but I can't catch him, so he's going to run off. And I can see that the woods are filled with trees and falling leaves and squirrels. There's a beautiful sky, there's shadows, there's sunlight. It's a beautiful, beautiful world. I can see the clouds up there. It's a very, very, very cool and beautiful world that I'm in. And I can run around and explore. To control my character, I'm using my Xbox controller. I'm controlling the camera by rotating the right stick, which means when I move the right stick, I rotate around my center point, which is the hero. When I press on the left stick very slowly, my character shuffles slowly. If I press it fully, my character runs. So I can control my character and control the camera. If I press the A button, my character jumps, and I can do a double jump. I can jump and jump a little bit extra. So I'll try and jump up on top of this tree. So I'll run at it and jump, and there I am. I'm up on top of the tree. And what's this down here? I see tree chests. They look very mysterious. There's a green glowing light coming from them. So I'm going to jump down, and there's a sign. It says, "Beware, only open the right treasure chest." But how do I know which chest is the right one? So I'm going to open this one, and I press B to open it. Oh no, a goblin! And he's chasing me. Oh, that's not good. So I'm going to run away from him. Maybe he's going to be friendly. Oh, no, he slapped me. He's not friendly. So if I press X, I can hit him back. Now, you shouldn't hit in real life, but if a scary goblin is chasing you in a game, it's alright. So if I punch him, he runs away. Oh, and he's disappeared in a puff of green smoke. So I'll try the next chest. Hopefully it won't have a goblin. And I get over close and press B. Another goblin. But don't worry, if I press Y, I control fireballs. And that made short work of that goblin. And he disappears. Now I hope there isn't a goblin in the next chest. So I press B, and no, there's some treasure, a gold coin. So when I pick that up, it says 1 gold coin in the top right hand corner. So that was a very small and simple game. And you might wonder how long it would take you to make that game. Well, the good news is in ProjectSpark that not only is it very quick to make games like this, but it's also easy. So the very first time you create a game in ProjectSpark, you might not think it's easy, but when you get used to it, you'll find that it's very, very, very easy to create these type of games, and it's a lot of fun. So I wasn't able to catch that squirrel, so I've no pet squirrel. Ah well. So I'm going to leave our hero in the level now and exit, and I exit by pressing the menu button, which is the start button on my Xbox controller, and it brings me back here. So we've just played our first game, and next it's time to look at Crossroads. So I exit by using the left stick and selecting exit, and I don't save, and I come back out and I keep pressing B button on my controller until finally I end up here. And at this point we want to leave the Play tab and go to the Create tab. And the Create tab is where we will interact with our world in ProjectSpark and create new things. So now that we've played a game, I think it would be cool to make our own game, but we don't yet know enough about making games in ProjectSpark to create a whole new world. So a really good place to start is Crossroads. So Crossroads is in the Create page. So you click on the Create tab and you'll see there's a blank empty world you can start with, or tutorials, or the Crossroads adventure. And when you go into Crossroads, you'll see that it's actually a tutorial. It looks like you're playing a game, but it's actually teaching you what's possible in ProjectSpark. So you'll be designing the game, but only because it's giving you options and you can say yes, no, and pick different options. So let's have a look at Crossroads now. So now we're going to create our first game, and we're going to use a thing called Crossroads. So you can see here that when we go into create mode, we have an empty world, we've world wizard, we've tutorials, and we've crossroads. So when I select crossroads, crossroads is very interesting because it contains a full adventure and it gives us choices on how that adventure is structured. So the very first thing we're giving is forming the landscape we're going to be in. So we could have hills, and watch how it dynamically recreates the world for us. Or we could have canyons or rivers. And you'll see at the bottom it says X to shuffle the choices. So I can actually shuffle between different possibilities. So I think we're going to go with hills. So we select hills and it says, well, is this a desert or is it the Arctic? And again, it's dynamically changing, or a forest. And we're going to go with forest. Now, if you haven't purchased the Arctic or desert packs yet, select forest because it comes with ProjectSpark. And it'll ask me, do I want overcast weather? Do I want evening? Do I want morning? I think we'll go with morning. We can actually change the sun angle and position. See the way we can move the shadows there, and I'm doing that by moving the D-pad. So it'll next ask us a couple of questions about our game. So Crossroads lets us create an adventure game where we have a number of mini games and a number of tasks. So our choice here is an adventure game. So we say yes, we want an adventure game. And it starts off by saying, where do we want to place our village? So this looks like a good spot for a village. And you'll notice that it creates a basic village for us. Now you'll notice that some parts of the village are glowing in blue. That's because they haven't been defined yet. And we're given a number of options here. We could have the town shrine, we could have a town festival, and we could have a sacred tree. We can also have the village well. So I'm going to go with the village well. Now I get a number of possibilities here, and these are all our heroes. So here's a knight, and his name is Hakon. And Hakon was ambushed by a troll, and he found the sword and shield of the legendary knight Sigurd. Bound together, they defeated the troll, and Hakon was knighted. So you can see there that he has a lot of strength, that's the red bar. Very high defense in the green bar. He's low agility, probably because he's wearing all that armor, and the difficulty is medium. He's adept in sword and shield combat, and when Hakon teams up with the spiritual powers of Sir Sigurd, they are nearly unstoppable. We can also go to Karlsnor. Now, he looks like a goblin, and he's a berserker, and he's an outcast from his clan. Karl is locked in a constant struggle against his feral rage that threatens to turn him into a terrifying berserker. Now he's very strong, but he has lower defense than Sir Hakon, and his agility is good, but the difficulty is quite low. He can spin, whirl, and unleash a rapid flurry of savage strikes to defeat his foes. And here's Scarlet. So Scarlet is a lone ranger with a heart of gold and nerves of steel. Scarlet roams the countryside, aiding those who need her most. So she has medium strength but low defense. She's very high agility and medium difficulty. She's truly flexible and fierce. Scarlet has many tricks up her sleeve to keep enemies at a distance, with her deadly arrows to do the rest. Here's another hero. This is Avalon. Now Avalon aspires to continue her druid training while she seeks revenge on the goblin clan that ambushed her brethren. She has low strength but very high defense, very high agility. It's still a difficult character to play though. With her ability to shapeshift into a wisp, this swift druid converts her foe's energy into defensive fauna and deadly energy bursts. So that's Scarlet. Now you can see all these different characters. We have to pick which one we want to be, and it's really your choice. You can be lots of different characters here, and these champions are very cool. They each have different capabilities and features. So you should go with the one that you think you'd like to play, and you should try playing them all. They all have different play styles. Now, you can see at the bottom there's difficulty, and currently it's on medium. I can put it to easy or hard, but I'm going to go with easy because, you know, I'm only learning how to play games and this game could be very hard for me. So I select A for OK, and it says speak with the healer to begin your adventure. So there's an exclamation mark floating in gold above his head, and you can see here my character. I'm going to move the camera around him. He's got a glowing sword, he's got a very big shield there, and he's got armor on. So he's a really tough guy here. And let's learn how to use our character. I can use the left stick to walk. So here he is walking slowly, here he is running. Okay, and I'm going to press some buttons. So the first button I'm going to press is A, and we can see that he jumps when we press A, and he can do a double jump, and he can run and jump. The next button we'll press is X. So when I press X, he swipes. Look at that swipe of his sword. So he can swipe his sword, and he looks very dangerous. Then I can press B. So when I press B on my controller, watch what happens. He puts up his shield to protect himself. So he can use this to protect from enemies attacking him. So he has good defense. But when he holds B down, he can't move because he's defending. And finally Y. Now what does Y do? Well, Y creates the Sir Sigurd, who is a ghost, and he fires a missile at your enemies. So that's very interesting. Now he only appears for a second, so I can't keep him there all the time with me. He appears to only appear for just 1 second. So we want to now move around and do some interaction with our world. So you see over here there's a sign. So our hero walks over to the sign, and it tells him about the different ways he can interact, which we've already tried, but we haven't tried the B double tap to dodge. So let's try it. There we go. So he can do a jump to avoid incoming missiles or attacks. Now look at this. This is a very scary enemy. Someone has made a scarecrow with an old bucket for a helmet, so we'll attack that. Oh yes, it's very dangerous. And you can see that we're getting achievements and experience, and we can kick that barrel around, play a bit of football with it. But Sir Hakon doesn't have time for football. There we go. So let's run over and see this strange blue building. So why does it look like that? Well, that's because it's part of our game and we have to decide what to do with this. Okay, so later on we can go over there and interact, but first of all let's see what this fellow needs. He says hello traveler over here. So it says press B, so we press B, and he says welcome Sir Knight, we are honored to host you as our guest. I am the village healer. Okay, so it says at the bottom to press A for the next bit. We are known for our well and its healing water. May I draw you some? Oh yes, we'd love some water. Oh, wait, we're being attacked. What will we do? So we're being attacked, and who is attacking us? Well, we have a choice. You'll notice that it says bandits and goblins, so they look scary. Now, you'll notice that zombies has a icon with a silver coin and a gold bar. That means I haven't bought the zombies pack yet, so I can't use them. Instead, I can use the goblins. So we're going to use these scary goblins. Don't be too scared though, because I'm a knight and hopefully I can defeat them. Oh, they're really wrecking the place. Look at this. Oh, they've thrown something in the well. So these are very dangerous goblins, and I'm going to defend the village from them. So I run over and it says enemies remaining. When they see me they attack. So I'll swipe them with my sword, and my sword knocks them down, and I'll make my friend Sir Sigurd appear and attack them, and when they're defeated they drop gold coins which I can pick up. So I'll pick up the gold coins, and we can see that something's happened to the well. Look at the well. It's gone all green. So obviously the goblins did something. So we'll run over to the healer and see what he has to say about that. So he says, you saved us, but why would the goblins taint our well with poison? Well, I don't know. I can make a cleansing antidote, but I'm missing the key component. So he needs something. So this is going to be a quest. Does he need to get the potion, the mystery meat? Oh, I don't think that would be good. Or a magic apple? Well, I think we need to get a magic potion. He's missing distilled dragon tears. Okay, so we'll help him get those. I had the potion, but it was stolen from me on my way back from a visit to heal the sick in another village. Those who took it must be allied with the goblins. They've probably brought it back to their camp at the... Now we have to make a choice here. So, is it going to be a quarry? Is it going to be a ransacked village? Is it going to be a druid's grove? Is it going to be a desolate castle? Or a fortress? I think the desolate castle sounds good. So we'll confirm that. Now again, you can make your own choices at every step of the way, but I'm going to confirm this location here. And it's going to ask me then, what about the journey's path? You know, how do we create the path that brings us to the castle? But I'm going to skip that and let it create the path for me. So now we have a path created automatically. So our game is taking shape now. And he says they've probably brought it back to their main camp at the desolate castle. Please help us cleanse our healing well. So, my main quest here is to return the potion to the village. If I pull the left trigger, it tells me where to go. It shows me where the desolate castle is. Before I go there though, I can run over to this building and it says press B. So what would we like to build here? So in the game, we could have a guard tower here, or a bakery, tasty, or a pawn shop. We can also have a tavern, or just a forest hut, or a general store. Now I don't have any money yet to buy much from the store, but let's put the store here anyway. And we can run around and see this is a very interesting place. It's got all sorts of things. It looks like they sell swords. I can run over here and interact with the shopkeeper. She says, welcome to my humble store, traveller. Great prices all around. And she does have great prices. This axe is only 5. This sword is 5. But unfortunately, I only have 3 gold coins. So I'm not buying any of these. I'll have to get more gold coins. And I can run over here and see what will we make over here. I think we'll make a windmill. So the windmill looks, well, look at those. If you look up here, you can see the windmill. The vanes are turning. It's quite a beautiful windmill. But there's some smaller things going on here that we can interact with. Here's a fellow, and he says he can't talk. He's run into some problems with his portable windmill. So if we run over here, what do we see? It's a note, and we read the note. What's this? Control panel 2 instructions. And there's a blue arrow pointing to the left. The next blue arrow and the next 2 blue arrows both point to the right. So that's left, right, right. I wonder what that could mean. Then we run over here. Oh, I ran into my friend, and there's another note. So you read the note and it says control panel 1 points up, down, up, up. I wonder what that could mean. So I find here a portable windmill. This is a very interesting contraption here. If I jump up, it's got 2 panels. And when I inspect them, it looks like they can be flipped as levers. And I remember the instructions were up, down, up, up. So I select up. That one's already down. Up. And we exit the panel. So hopefully that was correct. Then there's another panel here. And remember we had a left, right, Right. So all that's left now is these strange lights at the back. And here's another note. And the note has light bulbs with green and red. So what's that mean? Well, if we come over here, what do we see? We inspect the panel and we can see that we can charge up our lights like this. If I press the A button, and look, it worked. We've started our windmill, and he says this blasted contraption works after all. Thanks for fixing it. Here's 10 gold for you. So I got 13 gold coins now. Thank you very much. I think it's time to go buy something. Let's go over and see what we can do here. What will we build here? So a pawn shop. So I wonder what they're selling here. So I run over to the pawn shop. We can see that they're selling some dog's leaf, an old used sword. He's a very happy shopkeeper. A used bow and an acorn. I'm not really sure why I need the acorns unless I was attacked by a very hungry squirrel. So I think I'm going to go on my adventure now. Now, you can play Crossroads and have lots of fun just playing. But whenever you see something interesting, like a sign that says this way to the desolate castle, you should ask yourself, I wonder how I would make that in my games. Now on the way to the desolate castle, I've been attacked by some baddies. And they're very dangerous. Oh, they're firing at me and I've leveled up. Now, how did I level up? Well, I defeated enough enemies and got enough experience. And as I level up my character, he can do more things. So, there's the castle. So, and there's another enemy. So, I'm now time to go to the desolate castle, and there's a character outside it. And I meet them, and they say, oh, you don't want to go in there. No one gets out alive. The desolate castle is the domain of a monster the likes of which you've never met. So I have to pick which type of monster. Is it a goblin or a zombie or bandits? So I think we're going to go with some bandits this time. And it's crawling with minions that will flatten you first. Oh no. Now how many minions will there be? I don't know. I see 4 coming at me, 5. So I attack them, but there's an awful lot of them. I'd better use my shield. And I think I've defeated him. Oh, but that's not all. Am I going to fight the Fallen Ranger, the Black Knight, or the Yeti? He looks scary. So I think it's time to fight him. And you can see that his name is Migo, and he's an abominable Yeti from the frozen peaks. His wintry powers chill his foes to the bone. He's a lot of power, he's a lot of fur, he's a lot of chilliness, and a lot of abominableness. And this Yeti roars loudly and carries a big icicle. So we'll fight him. And he says, have you come to marvel at Yeti's mighty might? And I say, stand aside, tyrant, and I shall spare your life. You should. Yeti planned a village attack and stole their treasure. No matter the challenge, I will get that potion. Oh, he's a very dangerous character. But I've got my sword, and I've got Sir Hakon. Oh, sorry, I've got Sir Sigurd. I'm Hakon. Oh, hit Yeti is just mean. So I was too fast for Yeti, and I've defeated him. Ah, and what's this big chest? So it looks like there's something really cool there. Oh, I'm going to pick up these gold and press B to open it. And what's inside? The potion. That's what I needed. And here's a teleport stone. So maybe I can teleport back to the village. And here we are. So it's time to give the potion to the healer to help the village, and I should have completed my quest. And they say you saved the well, and everyone's very happy. Some of them are dancing, they're so happy. And they all lived happily ever after. And he says if it wasn't for you, we'd still be in that mess. And I press B, and what's happening now? It's the end of the game. So we press A to finish, and he leaps into the vortex and disappears. So it then gives us a review. Our total score was 50,500 points. We got 39 coins. We defeated 13 minions, one boss. We did no side quests this time. And you should do lots of side quests because there's some interesting things like catching squirrels and helping people. And we exit out to our save screen. So it says, well done, you've made your first Crossroads game. Don't forget to come back and try all of the options you haven't yet seen, and maybe beat new challenges while you're at it. So I think that's very cool. You've just created an entire game, and you didn't have to do any of the hard work. The developers of Crossroads gave you options of who you wanted to be and what you wanted to fight, but you still get the experience of controlling the parameters of the game. And everything you see in there you can create too. So we're going to continue back out, and we have the option to actually save this Crossroads. And next you're going to see how we can go in and learn how to do some of the things you've seen here. Well, I hope you've had a lot of fun playing Crossroads. As you can see, that the Crossroads I played was probably different from the Crossroads you were playing. And you can create Crossroads in many different ways. You can be different heroes, you can be different champions, you can have different quests, you can have different baddies. And you could probably play so many combinations of Crossroads. You could play a new Crossroads every day for a long time. Remember, you get XP for playing these games, and you'll be able to use that later on. I hope you've enjoyed Crossroads. I think though you're probably excited to start creating your own worlds from a empty world. So to do that, we're going to have a look at the tutorial system, which is coming up in module 3, which will show us the 5 different stages of making games in ProjectSpark. I hope you'll join me.